Okay. I just gotta say I took this to the range today and zeroed this scope in for it to be mediocre and not be like top of the shelf, ACOG or Aerotech or somebody like that, some high end, like really nice mil spec scope. This was very high quality. Let me see. I'm gonna try to turn my notifications and stuff off so if somebody does bother me, you guys don't get bothered by it. So I put 100 rounds through it today. I'm gonna have some video footage up after this. I've got to edit some stuff together, and then my phone died in the middle of shooting. I think I've got about 30 or 40 rounds down range. What I was doing with this scope is I was not zeroing it correctly. First of all, I had the optical too far forward, and it wasn't even on the target at all. So once I put about, I would say 6 to 9 rounds through it, and I realized this optical was not in the right place at all. I moved it all the way back to where like the iron sight would be, and when I moved it there, it was on the paper immediately. So you have your up and down, and then you have your left and right. What I was doing whenever I ended up on the left side of the paper, and I showed the video footage, which I'll edit it and put it in like after this. It'll have its own separate video. When I was adjusting my left and right, I was thinking that because I'm on the left side of the paper, I would want to turn counter to the way this in here says to turn left. That would move my rounds to the right. That's not what was happening. I forget. It's been a while. It's been a while since I messed with an optic. That if your rounds are to the left of where you want to be center mass with this optic, you actually turn to the left and it moves them to the right. I know it sounds weird, but it took me several rounds to figure that out. It actually, if you turn in the opposite direction of the way you want to go, it moves it the way you want to go. So that's how this optical works. I was thinking to myself, obviously, I'm all the way on the edge of the paper. I've got nice shot groupings. They're all in the same place every single time. But I need to be over to the right in the center of the target. So I wouldn't want to turn my optical to the little arrow in here that says turn down to the left. I would want to go the opposite way because that would move my rounds to the right. In theory, that's the way we think. No, on this optic, you actually turn to the left. And it makes you think like you're going to take it off the paper, but you're not. You're actually bringing it back towards the target. So it took me a little bit to learn that. It's all a learning process when you get something new. This MA15, oh my God. What a laser, man. Once I got it in the center of the target, I just kept shooting until I got it more zeroed in, more towards like the center portion of the black, more in the bullseye area. And at 75 yards, this thing is just a laser. You move out to 125 yards, and your shot grouping moves from about 3/4 of an inch to about 1 inch, somewhere in there. But it's still like there's almost no difference. Move all the way out to the end of the range at 225 yards and aim just a tad bit high, but not really, just a little bit over what you would. So if I'm normally like dead center, I move up just a tad bit, just a hair, one reticle point inside the scope, and it's same shot grouping. I mean, now you've moved your shot grouping from at 75 yards, 3/4 of an inch, 125 yards about 1 inch, and then 225 yards you're at about an inch and a half circle, somewhere in there. This super accurate. And this weapon, I didn't lubricate it, I didn't clean it, I didn't do any of that, and this thing fired amazing. It really is a great AR platform, but MMC calls it the MA15. This thing really surprised me how it shot. It is pretty aggressive though. You wouldn't expect it to be as aggressive as it is. It's pretty aggressive. I thought it would be um, a little quieter, and it lets you know that it's there. It's not hard to control, but it lets you know that it's there. You need to have hands on this thing when you shoot it. It's not something that's just something to play around with. I'm not saying that you would play around with a weapon, but firing this thing, you really need to know what you're doing, because my buddy shooting next to me, you can hear him in the video that I'm going to put up after all this is done. You can hear him firing, and then you can hear me firing, and it's like the sound coming from my weapon and the way it fires is just so much. It seems like it's so much more aggressive than his, but we're firing the same round. It's just, this thing really is nice. It really is nice, and it will reach out and touch you. This thing, very, very, very smooth. So big shout out to MMC, Armory, and Mark, Illinois. What a great product, man. What a great product. So move this out of the way because I'm going to clean this here in a second. I did get some stuff that came in today, accessory wise. This is the CV Life 6 to 9 inch tack return with adapter. Move this down here. Really nice. Nothing too crazy heavy duty. This cost, this was on Amazon. I think this was like 20, 25 to 30. Closer to Rockford. Yeah, I'm not too far. Well, I'm not close to you, but I'm about an hour and 15 minutes where I work. I'm not going to disclose a lot on here because these Antifa guys do watch this channel. Just so you guys know, I do get some of these Antifa guys on here that they try to find out information about me and stuff because they know I run the Patriot group, the Patriot rally. I'm all about helping the children and trying to, like, we're getting into scraping up food and stuff like that from the community that they may be throwing away that's still good food, you know, like non-perishable stuff to take to the veteran homes, the lower class communities, like clothing drives and stuff like that. These people are evil. I mean, they don't want me doing what I do because it kind of retracts from their message. So that's kind of like, I have to be very careful what I put out on here sometimes, because I've had them actually put articles out about me on their page, and they just won't quit. They think that it's appropriate. I don't understand what their problem is. I don't really do anything to harm anybody, but it's kind of one of those things where I have to be careful what I say. If you look up, and the guy watches my channel. I was talking to him for probably 2 hours last night, but if you look up Shield Wall Chicago, you'll see a bunch of really bad information about me. Shield Wall Chicago. They say I'm part of this 3%er club, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm not. I'm just a patriot. I'm an armed patriot that is willing to do whatever it takes to protect the people in my community. And if that means protecting somebody and having to harm somebody else in the process to defend them, that's what I will do. I am not scared to do it. I am not scared to give my life for people that are doing nothing wrong but being attacked by violent people, by people that want to create anarchy. So that's not something that I'm scared of. I will give my life at any moment's notice to protect somebody else. When I joined the military, that was part of my oath. I will defend and protect all enemies of the United States, foreign and domestic. It does not matter. I stand ready to deploy and engage enemies of the United States. That's what it is. And that's still today, that oath stands true. People watch this channel and they expect to come here and bully me around and stuff like that because they can put some stuff out on the internet and it doesn't work. I go right out in public and I invite them over. If you want to come find me, then come find me. You know where I'm at. Quit talking about stuff on the internet and come find me. But they won't do it. I'm highly trained in combatives. I'm highly trained in any type of weapon that you could possibly fire. I don't have, my elevator doesn't go all the way to the top sometimes, so I don't know when enough is enough. So if they want to engage in something physical, they might bite off more than what they can chew. They better bring more than one. So that's what I'm dealing with lately behind the scenes that you guys don't know about. I'm trying to put out these positive videos and stuff like that. I'm trying to work with the community. I'm trying to run, the Patriot groups that we run with the other admin that run them with me. It's all of our group. But for some reason, I keep getting lumped into this racist white extremist or something like that, and it's like, that's not even who I am, dude. I love the community. I love people. I just want people to unite and be one. I don't understand what the hell the problem is. I don't understand why somebody can't do that and still support the police and not be attacked by it. But unfortunately, that's what I get. If you don't share the message, if you look at the Antifa flag, the red and black flags that they typically have out, that's the same exact flags that you see in the Middle East with a lot of the Middle Eastern, the Al Qaeda people, the groups that fought ISIS and stuff like that, and a lot of them have this extreme ideology. And I can't say every bit of what they think is wrong because that's not for me to say that. But what I can say is it's an extreme form of aggression, and it's an extreme form against certain things in society. I don't agree with it. And they fly the same flag that those people flew over there that fought against ISIS and stuff like that. But even the people that fought against ISIS weren't peaceful people. They just wanted it to be a little bit nicer so they can keep creating the violence and destruction and, breaking laws and hurting people and stuff without the rule of ISIS. And they fly the same flag here. It's the same Antifa flag. And they'll tell you a history story about, oh, these people fought with those people and those people fought with this to overcome tyranny and all this other stuff. And that's why Antifa flies that flag. No. You can believe that if you want to, but I'm not going to believe that. What I'm going to tell you, though, is there are some good, I can't say good. There are some decent Antifa people that literally fight for a specific cause, but under the Antifa name because they don't have anything to label themselves as. But there are also a lot of radical people. There's a lot of people in the Black Lives Matter movement that's the same thing. They are radicalized Black Lives Movement people. And when you look at how society is going today, these are the conversations I have with people that don't make social media. These are the conversations that nobody finds out about, because when I talk about what I do in the streets and the people that I deal with, people don't want to spread that on social media because what ends up happening is it creates more chaos. And they're scared that if what I am saying is true, that somebody will have to react. Now, I deal with these people. I talk with these people. I'm not some social media guy that is just making stuff up on the internet. I literally am in the streets protesting, rallying every single weekend, sometimes twice a week, getting threats online, people telling me they're going to come find me and stuff like that, and they never do. It's just always talk. And, up until a couple weeks ago, that's what was going on. But I put my foot down, and I said, you know what? I'm not dealing with anybody's bullshit anymore. I'm going to start calling you guys out. I'm going to start putting the pressure on them. And then all of a sudden it quit. It stopped. Everybody left me alone. People apologized. Even a couple of Antifa guys were like, you know what, man? You're not our problem. You actually seem like a peaceful guy. You actually seem like somebody that's out worried about the well-being of other people. And they just left me alone. So in that regard, I do have respect for these people, to the extent that if you actually will talk to them And I know some people say you can't reason with these people. Yes, you can. You can. Some of them actually do it for specific reasons, and they want to be able to talk to you. Now, when I started communicating and talking to some of the Antifa more, and they started actually seeing that I'm not about destroying, taking anything away, or I'm not trying to take the rights away from African American people, that I'm legitimately worried about the community, and I'm out here fighting for the community. A lot of people had good, honest conversations with me and said, you know what, we were wrong about you. We just assumed because of the back the blue stuff and you saying that you're a patriot, we just assumed you were some kind of white supremacist, and that's not what you are at all. And we're going to move on and we're going to stop bothering you. And they left me alone. So now for a couple weeks now, it's been pretty peaceful. I think everybody finally that was bothering me kind of seen that I'm a good, sincere guy, and I'm not about all this racism and all this other stuff. And I do agree there is some type of police reform that should be done. We all pretty much agree with that. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to be bullied. And I'm not going to have somebody tell me, that I'm a white supremacist and I'm a racist and everything else, because that's not the case. And I'm glad that finally they listened and we were able to sit down and talk and dialogue. They're actually not bad people. The people that are doing it for their own specific reason and not radicalizing things, they're not bad people at all. It's just they don't like government. I know. But it's not the color of the cop. It's the fact that they are cops. And that's been made clear more than anything lately. It's just cops in general. It's not a color of a police officer. It's literally the fact that you're a police officer. So there's a lot of misunderstanding. There's a lot of people that don't understand what voices are being said. Um, there's a lot of people that don't understand exactly what the message of Antifa is. And I don't think most people are ever going to understand that. Some of it is very radical and it's very dangerous. And then there's some of it where they're actually concerned with what's going on in the world. You have to pick and choose what side you want to believe. Me, I'm not going to worry about any of that stuff. And what I'm going to worry about is doing what I do. And that's helping people in need, being a patriot, standing up for this country, trying to teach and arm people with as much knowledge as I possibly can, physically, mentally tough, ready to deploy and engage all enemies of the United States, foreign or domestic. And if I can do that, and you can do that in multiple facets. You can do that physically. You can do that mentally. You can do that emotionally. And if I can train people to do this type of stuff, if people can come out with me in these rallies, come to the range with me, come to private meetings and stuff with me so I can teach them about things. I do all kinds of stuff. Trauma teaching, weapons teaching, how to get into the minds of people and stuff when you're in a severe situation to get out of that situation. There's a lot of stuff that I deal with, that we all deal with. I'm going to be going to some training this weekend that is a very private session, quite far away. And it's literally tactical leaders that get together and they bring people in from the community. Even if you don't need tactical training, sometimes it's better to have it. So I'm going to go train this weekend with somebody much more advanced than me. And I think I'm pretty good as it is. Pretty nutty, but it never hurts to do the additional training in case something does happen. And that's what's going on this weekend. I'm going to go take care of some additional what I like to call leveling up. So, I don't know that this is exactly going to work with, let's see here. I don't think this is going to work with this this rail. I'm going to have to get a different rail. It ain't going to work with this one. That sucks. So basically, you flip the legs out on this thing. There's an adjustment lever right here in the back. And as you move that adjustment lever, this pin starts to come up through the center here. I'm holding it in my hand right here. And then you could pop that thing out of there. See, just like this little rubber piece here. You can pop that thing out of there. And then this will go there's like a little bridge deal here. Let me show you. It's got a little floating ball with an eyelet in the bottom of it, and it pops down in there. And then as you suck this mechanism back down, turn it back down, it tightens up on it. See there, now it tightened up. See, now that little bridge is collapsed inside there, and this piece here is tight now. Now you're ready to mount it. Try to get that really tight on. So that's tight on there now. And then, you know, obviously I don't have the, I could probably make something for this because I know they have adaptions for it. But this, even though this is upside down, this would mount on your rail. What you want to look for when you mount this thing is you want to make sure that you got no gap right here. You want to make sure there's no gap in between where the bridge mounts and where your rail is. And this one's pretty nice. This one actually fits really clean. And then there's no gap in there. It fits all the way up against it. So this seems like this is legit. Like this is pretty nice. And then when you fold back in, which way does it fold? Folds this way. And obviously this whole assembly would sit the reverse way underneath your weapon. I'm going to have to get another rail for this thing, which I'm kind of excited for that. So you get the idea. It would sit like this, but except it would be underneath. It would sit under here. And then you just flip it out. So it's called V-Life. Pretty nice, actually. I was expecting it to be a complete bust, like no good at all. It's actually really nice. And I got that on Amazon. It was like, what, 30 or 27 or $37 for that? Off of Amazon. And that's pretty friggin' nice. And if you want the part number for it, it's B01E4YVCOA Bravo 01 Echo 4 Yankee Victor Charlie Oscar Alpha. And it's the CV Life 6 to 9 inch tacked return with adapter. Okay, next thing. All right, this is the mil-spec tactical sling. There's a card in there. Mil-spec tactical. If you have any issues or questions, contact support at milspectactical.us. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then on the World Wide Web. Register your lifetime warranty. If you're looking for the part numbers for it, so that would let's see what we got here. Oh, wait a second, they said there was pins with it. The pins didn't even come with it. There's supposed to be pins that you get that mount through. It's not even here. They didn't send the pins with the damn. I'm gonna have to make something. Well, that sucks. I wanted to at least mount it tonight. They didn't. There was supposed to be a set of pins that go through the handle back here. It showed that it comes with it, but the pins didn't come with it. I don't know why. Maybe because it's Amazon. Maybe I should stop messing with them. Some people would say. See if there's another way to hook this. I bet you there's not another way to hook this up. No. So I'm going to have to make something. I might have to make something at work. I might have to go to work and actually fabricate, make hooks for this thing. Huh. Well, that was a bust. The hooks didn't come with it, but you pay for what you get, right? Isn't that what we say? Pay for what you get. So I'll have to fabricate something for that. This is a, I think this is an Optic. I think I just seen a cool looking Optic and it was cheap and I wanted to try it out. And this is what I grabbed. I think that's what this is. Oh yeah, that's what it is. It's an Optic. It's supposed to be a good one. The ratings were really high on this thing. I want this for more close quarter stuff. I wonder if I could tag these together. There. Pull the top of it out right here where the battery goes. What am I doing? Let me let you see this first. It comes with two covers on it. Comes with two covers on it. Looks like a pretty good, decent, nice machine mounting base with real crisp, flat edges. It's got adjustments. So it's got up and down and right and left. It's a 1x40 RD. Probably doesn't hold a zero, so you're probably going to have to like literally adjust it every single time. This would be for quick action. I'm going to pull the battery out and install it. Lithium battery, 3 volt. Chinese made. It's called a Pinty, P-I-N-T-Y. Remember, I told you guys I was going to do a cheap series and then I was going to do an expensive series or something more reputable. So that's what we're doing here. Is we're trying to see how cheap we can get this MA15 set up or AR-15 set up, however you want to say it. So I'm going to build this Optic real quick. Let me turn this down some so you ain't got to watch me. Well, I don't really, probably goes that way. Just a red dot. It's really all it is a red dot and a green dot. And it's really bad. Like the dot itself is really, really, really bad. It's terrible, actually. I want to see if they match up. It sucks because the quality of like the way it was machined and stuff is really good, but the quality of how it works is bad. I'm going to adjust this up a little bit. So what I did was I stacked them. And they're pretty much right in front of each other. The dot is almost dead center from where I have this one zeroed. The one where I zeroed at the range, the dot is almost dead center. So I'm going to adjust it up and to the left a little bit. Let me get my little screwdriver. And this is not even accurate the way I'm doing this. Trust me, this is by no means accurate at all. These aren't even supposed to be stacked with each other. I'm just playing with it to actually see how everything adjusts. Is it, a bunch of baloney? Can I actually physically see it while I'm adjusting it? Is it that cheap where I can't? Maybe it doesn't adjust at all, kind of one of those deals. So I'm going to look down it and try to adjust it at the same time. somebody messaged on my channel earlier. They said, so how did you go from a clean eating keto channel to a channel where you're showing people how to kill people? And I was like, what the hell is wrong with you people? Like, when do you get a say so on what I do on my channel? I mean, I don't understand that. Here I am talking about my abusive childhood, fighting for children that are being abused, teaching people healthy eating, showing them a good skill or some kind of sporting thing about weapons or whatever as I learn and go through this, sharing things with them on where I find the best deals. And you get some jackass that comes along and tells you on your channel that what you should be doing is what they think you should be doing. Brother, I got news for you. You can fucking get bent. This ain't your channel, and you don't wipe my ass, and you don't pay my bills, and you damn sure don't sleep with me. So you get no say so. And I don't understand why people are like that. They think they can just pop up and just complain about everything and then make you do what they want you to do. So what I'm after here is I want to see how this adjusts. Oh yeah, very nice. Very clean. Every click it moves. That's actually really responsive. Extremely responsive. Every click you can watch it jump up. Okay, now I need to go over to the center a little bit. Come on now. Nope, wrong way. It's very responsive. So just that cheap $40 scope off of Amazon, very responsive. It's actually doing exactly what it's supposed to do. As soon as you click it, it moves. I mean, there's no delay, no nothing. So that's pretty good, actually. When I switched to this, the reason I switched to this is because I don't know everything about this stuff, but I'm more knowledgeable and more confident than the average Joe walking down the street that knows a little something about guns. I mean, when you can talk to somebody that's been in a situation where they have been in the shit, where they have literally been door to door kicking in doors and pulling bad guys out of homes with weapons that they shouldn't have. They're killing people and murdering children and everything else. You know, this blowing people up, and you're dealing with these kind of people on a daily, day-to-day basis. You probably should have somebody like that as your friend. That's probably somebody that's going to have your back no matter what. That doesn't really give a shit about danger in general because they've already been there, which I don't really care. I'm ready to go at any time in my life. My bills are paid. Insurance is going to take care of my death. I don't care about that. Do I want to live? Absolutely. Do I love this country? I sure do. But I'm happy. I feel like my obligation to society would be filled if I'm protecting somebody in that regard. I don't want to die, but I'm not scared to either. I'm really not. So it's a point, like, I don't understand why people pop up on here and they think that they're going to actually tell you what you're going to do or what you should be doing, or they question your intent. Well, if you have to question my intent, then you probably don't know anything about me, or you're brand new to the channel and need to do some more research about what the channel's about, and then ask that question. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. They want you to do the work for them. They want you to educate them and tell them everything and argue with them. I ain't got time for all that. You know, I got a message on here not too long ago, a guy talking about why, just like I said earlier, about why I'm teaching people to kill other people. It's not what I'm doing at all. I'm showing people a sporting hobby that I'm involved in and educating them as I get educated, or maybe offering them something that a different way to look at things than what they looked at things before. I don't get it. I really don't get how people think that they have some kind of authority over other people. Exactly. That's what I tell people all the time. If you came here to complain about something, then why are you here? Go on somewhere else. Go on with your bad self somewhere else. You ain't got to tell me you're leaving. There's no questionnaire. There's no donuts. There's no powder to spank you on the ass on the way out. There's no 10th place, first place trophy. Just leave. You ain't got to tell nobody. Nobody really cares. Just leave. I'm going to take this other scope off. What I'll do is I'll try this one out at the range by itself, and then I'll put a video up about that. But you guys are going to see this cheap $130 scope that I ended up picking up brand new in the box, still in the bag from my buddy, $50. This thing is a nasty scope. This thing is nasty at $130. It almost acts and look like it's something that's $500 or $600. At 225 yards, I was putting rounds in a spot like this, you know, at 225 yards. That's way out there where the paper went from looking, 16 inches by 16 to 18 inches to looking awfully small at that other end. And this thing right here was helping me put the accuracy of the weapon and how the quality. This thing here was helping me put rounds within an 1.5 inch circle, shot grouping at 225 yards. I cannot complain about this, man. For that price, it doesn't get any better than that. I didn't see what you said. I gotta go back. I want to go back and take a peek at it. That's right. 100% correct. Now, the last part I have here is I'm actually going to break this down and clean it. I don't know if you guys want me to do it while you're on here, or if you want me to shut this thing down, clean it, and then edit and upload that video from when I'm at the range, when I was at the range earlier. If you're going to stay around, I'm going to break it down and I'm going to clean all this. Just going to kind of, I'm not going to do a real crazy job, but I'm going to go through it and wipe it all down real quick, and then when I get off work tomorrow and I'm away from everybody, no videos, no nothing, I might go through it a second time just to say that I really did a thorough job. But tonight I do need to at least get some lube on it and at least get it wiped down a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do now. You can stay, you can go, it's up to you. But I'm going to kick the camera down, and I'm still going to be here to talk to you, but I'm going to start breaking this thing down so I can clean it up. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with people anymore. I think people are just inherently, I don't think people want bad things to happen to other people. But I think if people are miserable in general, they got to try to make other people miserable too, so they can basically share that frustration and disappointment or hurt, whatever it is, sorrow, and they just want somebody else to feel what they're feeling at that time, even though that's not the right thing to do. But I get people that come by here all the time, like, they say, well, I subscribed to your channel 2 years ago because all you did was keto videos, but now you're talking about abused children, This is basically it's an AR, but they can't call it an AR because they don't build this like an AR. This is actually built better than an AR, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because you can get a regular AR for $400 to $700, and there's nothing special about it. It's going to shoot a 5.56 round. It's going to be a decent weapon. It's not going to be a bad weapon at all. But when you start talking about adding the combine rail and collapsible buttstock, you start talking about the nickel-plated, anodized, blah 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 bolt and stuff that's in here. The what do they call it? The nickel-plated gas tube that's in here. The pre-treated metal before they actually do the machining, where an AR was they'll machine and then they'll treat. These people don't do that. It's something to do with treating the metal ahead of time, machining, and then retreating the metal again. It's something to do with the way they taper the barrel in the center. It's a little bit better than what a regular AR would be. The company is MMC Armory. It's in Mark, Illinois, made in the USA. So I'm gonna clean this thing real quick. At least break it down a little bit. You know what I need to do first? This is after 100 rounds. This is that material that they say is like the anti-jamming material. If you look at the regular bolts that typically come with this all over it, um, or that don't have this on it, they're really dry and they have a tendency to jam, where this is supposed to stop that from happening. And even now with all this soot and debris and stuff all over it, it's really, really smooth. It's really smooth material on here. Well, I got some one step on these. I don't get too crazy. Some people like their cleaner and their oil separate. I just do a all-in-one, and that's just how I do it. I pull the little pin right here out of the side. There's like a little pin that goes in there. It sits right here inside of the bolt. You allow your firearm pin to come out. Yeah, they do all that. They like heat treat it, they mill it, they reheat treat it and coat it or something like that. I don't know what it is. It's some special way that they do it, and it really, really works good. Damn it, I thought I had the right Allen. I don't have the right Allen. I'm going to pull the top of that gas tube out and clean inside there as well. I'm going to have to bring another Allen home from work. You can definitely see all the staining now around the gas tube right here where it's been firing and how hot it gets compared to like when it was brand new. I don't know a lot of the professional terms like some of you guys know. I don't get into like the specifics behind the metal treating and stuff like that. Um, I know how to adjust it, shoot it, and clean it. All the other stuff I never really got into. I just I fire them, I put them to use, I abuse them, and then I tell people what I think about them. There's still a lot I have to learn if I ever have time to sit down and actually, you know, get into learning about all the different types of metal treating and stuff like that. I just I love the tactical aspect of using them for hunting, sporting, self-defense, whatever whatever you will. I don't have all the answers for everything, and as time passes, I learn, I get into it. Yeah, I've never really got into any of that, so you know, definitely learn from people like you on what the different types of things are with this. On one of my other videos, I did the review on what this is coated. It's some kind of nickel coated carbon double blah 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 blah. It's supposed to resist jamming up with this special nickel coating on there. If it ever gets like too dirty and loses all the lubricant, this will help keep the weapon firing longer, it says. And I definitely noticed today how accurate this is with the way they have it built compared to the regular M4 or AR that I've used. This is sharp, man. This thing is really sharp. But there are a lot of people that don't take what's going on serious right now. There are a lot of people that don't take the things that are going on in the world, and they think that they're going to be affected by it. People think that a lot of this stuff is just going to stop and it's just going to go away. They don't think there should be a reason for people protesting and safety and stuff like that, which is completely inaccurate. It's the furthest thing from the truth. Um, people want to be heard. They want their voices to be heard and stuff like that. And even on the Patriot side. But a lot of people think that that type of stuff is going to perpetuate something more evil. And I think they're wrong, because if nobody says anything, that's when evil really starts to prevail. Because if you don't say anything about it, evil's not showing its face enough for somebody to do something about it. So the evil starts to get worse until somebody does do something about it. So you can be as quiet as you want and be against protesting and everything else, but you're not solving the problem. As American patriots, we go out and we're out here every weekend. Um, we go out here and offer people to come out with us, and we want them to be a part of our community, our group. And they, I've even said to Black Lives Matter people, come out and protest with us. Come out and stand with American patriots and hold your Black Lives Matter signs, even though I don't agree with the message. Not that Black Lives don't matter, but the message itself from this radical movement, Black Lives Matter. Come out and protest with us. Hold your signs out with us, and we will protect you. We will make sure nobody hurts you. We'll make sure that people see you peacefully instead of radically, like Antifa does when they infiltrate your peaceful protests. Come with us and we'll help you. We will actually show you that it's okay to peaceful protest without being violent, under the protection of a bunch of patriots spreading your message the way you want to spread it. But they don't do it. They won't take me up on my offer. They don't want nothing to do with it. And it's sad. It's sad because I offer it, and I can offer protection while they're doing it, and they don't even want to see that I'm trying to help them. It's been a while since I've had this apart, and I was trying to figure out for the life of me just now how the damn end of that charge bolt comes out of there, and then it just dawned on me, oh, pull the pin out. It's been so long since I pulled one apart. I've done forgot half the stuff I'm supposed to know. I'm going to really soak this thing because it's got stuff all over it. I'm going to actually set it down here on this towel and let all this cleaner and oil soak into this. Don't lose that little spring right there. You'll be screwed. Another thing too that often people don't talk about is how petty people can be on YouTube. I had a girl one time telling me how bad off she was financially and how she couldn't pay her cell phone bill. She couldn't pay her or they just spent the last of their money getting food for the house. And I felt really bad for them. And I said, you know what I'll do? Just send me the information for your cell phone bill, and I'll call up and I'll pay that bill. And she did. She got him on the line actually, and I gave them my information and stuff like that, and I paid that lady's cell phone bill because her and her husband were separated, and the kids were living over at grandma's house, and they all had cell phones, but it was about to get shut off, so they wouldn't be able to communicate with each other. I called up and I paid that cell phone bill. She was so grateful, and I love you, and thank you for everything. You're such a wonderful person, because I do stuff like this for tons of people on the internet. People need groceries, I go buy them groceries. People need extra help with bills. I help them out, help them pay their bills. People, need me to relay a message to a loved one where they're not on talking terms, and I'm kind enough to mediate sometimes and be that person that relays the message. So people need gas for their car to get to work or something like that, or somebody's got a cell phone that broke. I buy them a cell phone, send them a cell phone. It's nothing for me to do something like that. But this lady had the nerve, after I did that, to turn around and go talk about me behind my back to another YouTuber. And she didn't realize that me and that YouTuber happened to be really good friends. And she told me and showed me all the screenshots of what was said. It sucks because people use you like that and you don't know who's being sincere and who's not. Now, she really did need her cell phone bill paid and stuff, don't get me wrong. But this girl went on to saying, I bet you he's going to make me feel like I owe him and everything else. And he's such a jerk sometimes. No, I'm opinionated, and that's me. And that's not going to change. That's how I am. But I can still be opinionated and be a good person. That doesn't make me a bad person because I have an opinion on stuff. That's fucking life, man. That's what it is. And basically had this view about me before she even used me for services, and then decided to go behind my back and talk about me and still take my money. And then still act two-faced and act like she's friends online. And I called her out one day and she got all quiet. She quit talking to me for almost a year. And then she popped back up on Facebook out of nowhere. Oh, I'm so sorry. I should have never did that. I feel so terrible. And God told me that I should tell you apologize. And, I've felt bad this entire time, that I never should have did you that way. And I said, well, you shouldn't have done me that way. I don't have to give you my money. Well, I don't have to give you my time, but the Lord was telling me that I probably should help people. And I chose to do that for you because I felt it was the right thing to do. Something was telling me and tugging on my heart, telling me that that's the right thing to do. Help your brethren, help your sister, right? So that's what I was doing. I was doing what I was told to do by somebody much higher than me and you. And I care. And she just went on talking after that about how sorry she was. So I become friends with her for a little bit again. And then I find out she's right back to the same old stuff, talking about me again. And I ain't never done nothing to this girl. She just doesn't like my personality, but yet she'll act like she's friends to me to my face. So eventually I ain't got no time for people like that. I ain't got no use for people like that. And eventually I put that to bed quick. I said, I appreciate you as a person, stuff like that, but you got a bad attitude, and I really don't care for you anymore. So I really just wish you'd leave me alone and just kind of get off my channel and stuff like that. Just be out of my life because you're not a very nice person. And I know it made her feel bad, but I had to be honest with her about things. And eventually you just have to tell people straight up how it is. And it often happens. There's people right now yelling at me because they want me to comment on all these YouTubers making these videos and tons of money on these children because they know I was abused. And they want me to leave this commentary and stuff, and they want me to get emotional and yell and scream and tell people how wrong they are for making YouTube videos about these abused and tattered children. And I'm like, why would I be mad about that? A lot of times these people are the ones helping expose stuff. Even if they do make some revenue off of it, they're the ones that are helping expose stuff to get to the authorities that would never have got to them before. So who am I to tell people what they should and shouldn't do? Should I just let them, should I talk bad about people and make them so scared that, or make them feel bad that they don't do stuff like that, and the next little girl that might need some media attention ends up getting killed or sent off to Iraq or Mexico to be somebody's child slave or something like that, or down at Epstein Island. You know, I don't fault them for doing what they do. I can't sit here and talk bad about them. Do I think it's wrong to expose a child at a young age? Absolutely, but we don't have a system in place now that protects that child. So although that may be humiliating, in order to cherish that child's life and keep them around a little bit longer, that may be what has to happen. You know, there's pros and cons to everything. So I don't know why people want me, because I'm an extreme abuse case, to talk trash about other people. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. You know, if we had a better system, I could tell people, you know, hey, you know, what you're doing is you're just generating revenue off this child's abuse, and you're not really helping them too much. But that's not the case. There's a lot of mom and dads that are popping up on social media too, that are trying to use social media to have financial gain and create this fictitious story of their children being abused by the mother or the father. And they want to make money off social media because they know right now social media will pay. You know, people will fork up the money. No matter how broke we are right now, people will literally fork up the money. You know, they got a new GoFundMe for everything. They got a Cash App for this, a Cash App for that. You know, there's a little girl, Sophie. She's with her daddy right now. The mama had her and was letting people abuse her and sexually do stuff to her. The mama was involved in some of it too. And then all of a sudden, we're finding out now, as the story unfolds, that one of the son tested positive for cocaine, and he's just a little boy. I don't think he's but 12 or 13 years old. Maybe he could be younger, as far as I know. I don't really know too much about the boys in the family, but the son tested positive for cocaine and marijuana. But the thing is, cocaine is out of your system so fast. The last time that the son was with the dad was, I mean, it was a while before he was dropped off, and they're saying the time frames don't match up with cocaine being out of your system and the dad taking the son to get tested and him testing positive. So a lot of people are spreading these rumors about the dad probably put cocaine in the kid's food or something like that to make him show something. And then, I don't know, man. I can't even tell you. People are so skeptical of everything that's going on when a little child comes forward and tries to say something's happening to her or him. They want to call people liars, and everybody gets blamed for being liars. It's a rough time right now. It's a real rough time right now. We're not living in a very good time at all. Now you got the damn NBA. The NBA is the biggest joke I've ever seen in my life now. The NBA, the NFL, all these assholes. I never really cared for watching a lot of professional sports anyway, because I'd rather be doing something productive with my time. And I'm not saying that's not productive to some people. It may be, but it's just not something that I do. I'm more about, you know, going out in the woods and doing some kind of hunting or something like that, or building something out, DIY projects and stuff. So I'm not a huge fan of watching a bunch of sports on TV anyway. I never have been. I'd rather be out in the outside doing stuff, working on my car, my truck, or something like that. Um, it's a shame right now. The NFL has lost tons of people watching. They've walked away completely. The sad part is they want to claim that the stuff that they're doing is because of they're standing up for oppression and stuff like that, and they're standing up for people's rights, but they don't understand what they're doing is they're actually creating more damage. Or maybe they really don't care. I'm not sure. But they're creating more problems by doing what they're doing instead of actually, maybe having some dialogue talking about the situation. Don't disrespect the flag. Don't disrespect the people that come there that want to watch the game, because it's ultimately up to them whether or not they're okay with what you do or don't do. It's not up to you, because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be getting paid. There's a lot of us like me that have died or put their life on the line for this country, and we feel terrible about it. We don't like what's going on, but where do we fit in? Do we not get a say? Do we not get to choose whether or not we like what's going on? Because I don't think we do. That's the sad part. The sad part is just nobody cares anymore. There's just it seems like this democratic loom, this liberal loom is just floating all over the place, just waiting to be popped. I can't wait. Can't wait for this election to be over, the end of the year to come, so we can start a fresh new year, and all this bullshit that we're dealing with now be gone, so we can start focusing back on life again instead of being locked down because of this pandemic, this shit virus, the China virus. And then you got Netflix with the damn cutie stuff. The Netflix show where they're showing girls, and I'm gonna speak about this a little bit different. I'm just gonna talk about this a little bit different, and it's gonna probably strike people a little differently about me because of what I'm about to say. Because you're probably thinking that I'm gonna go all huff and puff and be all against the cuties thing, and these are children and da 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 da. They shouldn't be on there. That's not what I'm gonna tell you. Not exactly, anyway. But what I am gonna tell you about that whole Netflix thing is that video was never intended to make children out to be an object for pedophilia or anything like that. That video was created basically to show people in the rest of the world how Western civilization and other countries normalize this type of behavior with their children. It's to point out the fact that children are led to believe this type of makeup and skimpy clothes and fashionable bras and nakedness and stuff like that, and bouncing your ass at 10, 11 years old is a normal thing. That's why that video was made. And they came out and they talked about that a long time ago, that they knew people were going to be mad because they put it up anyway, but it was a basic exposure to the rest of civilization. It was a basic exposure for people to see what's going on, that it's not just pedophiles and stuff that are taking advantage of these children. It's the parents as well that allow these children to do this stuff, that put them in harm's way when it comes down to dealing with people like these pedophiles. And they don't realize the clothes and stuff that they let them wear, the way they let them act, the music and stuff they let them listen to, that perpetuates this seductiveness and this devilish type behavior, where these girls are talking about doing stuff to private parts in the video, and the girls humping the ground, and trying to find all these fancy underwear and stuff so she can be in her videos, and she ain't nothing but a little kid. So I get why people were upset, but I also get why the movie was made. It wasn't made to show people, that this is normal. It's not what it was made for, but society doesn't want to see that. It was made to show people what's actually being accepted. And that's the sad part, is people automatically draw up this emotion and this agenda, and they don't want to see the truth when it's right in front of their face. So all of society right now, for the most part, is upset because of what Netflix did with this series. Which the sad part is, that's not even why that cuties movie was created. It was literally like they had a whole talk on this before this got blown out of proportion, and they actually gave like the description on why they were doing that. It was to basically show the rest of the world that this is a normalized activity that's being perpetuated by society, and we shouldn't be doing that. It's not something that's okay. And we actually do it. Here's the sad part. The sad part is we actually do this stuff. We actually let our kids wear these clothes, let them do these types of seductive dances and make them feel like what they're doing is okay. We encourage them to listen to certain types of music and express themselves how they want to. But then all of a sudden, when somebody puts it in your face, when somebody shows you what you're doing, gives you the reality check that this is what's going on, all of a sudden you don't want to hear it no more. And it's disgusting, and people shouldn't be doing that. And so you're basically guilty. You're guilty. You're trying to get the show shut down when you're guilty also. That's the sad part. The sad part is you're just as guilty as what's going on. I guess people don't want to see that. What did I do wrong here? I did something wrong here. Okay. So I need to. All right, I see what I did. I think I see what I did. It's been a while. Sorry. Oh, I see what I did. I see what I did. Back up. Hold up. Wait a minute. I mean, what do y'all think about that whole cuties thing? I mean, give me your feedback on that. Do you think that there's something more to it than just what angry people are mad about? Saying that it's Netflix that did this and Netflix that did that. When if you take a look at it and you actually reality check yourself, you can actually see that you're actually letting your children do this, and you're blaming it on Netflix. This is what the whole thing was about. It was to expose people that are abusing their kids like that. And it worked. A lot of people got emotional. A lot of people got upset over it. And then you're mad because this is what's going on, but yet you let your children do that stuff. Come on now. Get in there, Pin. The pin's not wanting to drop in. There it goes. Took me a second to figure it out. I got it to go in. So they're firing pins back in. Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, I didn't see your comment when you left it. Yeah, I remember that, you leaving me that comment last night talking about shit's gonna hit the fan around election time. I believe it. I 100% I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. Did I forget anything? I don't think I've. I'm gonna finish the upper before I do anything with the lower. Oh yeah, it's dirty. Later, what I'll do is I'll take and re-clean all this with this ultrasonic cleaner that I have, and then I've got a big square drum that I can put this in. It has filtered air in it, so it can't blow any more junk on it, and it's all clean filtered particle air. and I can set this lower receiver in there, and I can blow that clean air through there, and it'll get off any kind of excess drop. Who just gave? Whoever gave that money just now, that super chat, I appreciate that. Somebody stayed silent when they did it, but I appreciate you. You don't have to do that, and I know it's an option, and it's always appreciated, but it's not necessary. Got a little gunk right here. Clean this trigger and stuff out. See, before I cleaned that, it was sounding gritty when I would do that. You didn't really want to slide that easy. Now that's sliding real good now. It doesn't have all that grit sound to it. So after 100 rounds, you can see that new material on the spring, where the spring forces up against the back of the bolt. You can see how it's got some wear already right after 100 rounds. That's that material they put on that side as well. I ordered a set of iron sights for this too. So the iron sights should be here. They said it would take a few days for the iron sights to get, because it's coming directly from the manufacturer. It sucks because now I'm going to have to get rid of this rail. I'm going to have to get rid of this rail and go to a 3-sided rail, or because I want to put this tripod on it, or this bipod on it. I need to mount these to it, unless I make a special mount for it. I don't know how I'm going to do that though. It would have to be, I would have to make something to fit inside of this that would mount to the bottom of the carbine rail. I would have to fabricate something that would go on the bottom of this, but I don't have that. Okay, so this one's all clean now for the most part. I mean, it's not the most perfect job. Well, sorry guys. It's not the most perfect job. Come on now. Acting all goofy. So that's pretty much it. That's all we got. I mean, I could bring the 9mm out real quick, the brand new Gen 5 edition Glock 45, and I could break it down real quick and run through a quick clean with that. It only takes me about 5-10 minutes, probably 5 minutes to do that, because they're like nothing to them. I'm gonna do that real quick. I mean, if you guys want to stay, you can. If not, I'm gonna run over here to my bag and get my Glock 45 out. I'm gonna break that down and clean it real quick. It only really takes me about 5 minutes to do it. Yeah, this is not really dirty. I didn't put enough rounds through this to really make this that dirty. These Glocks, they stay pretty clean. It's really hard to get them all junked up. It's a very, very clean weapon for the most part. With these Glocks, because they're so forgiving, you could literally go through and just do a quick wipe down like this. Just real quick. Make sure you clean out your magazine port from time to time. But overall, super easy to clean. The only place I put a lot of grease on or a lot of oil on outside of just this little wipe that I use, you can see it barely got anything off of there. Just real light dirt, that's it. These don't really get that dirty unless you fire a ton of rounds from them. The only place that I really put a lot of grease, especially if I'm using this often, there's no reason to really get anything down inside this mechanism. It doesn't need it. It's going to get what it needs from just the residual stuff on the gun. Is I'll take the 4 contact points right here, where the slide slides, here, here, and I'll put a dab there, a dab there, a dab there, and a dab there. That's it. Bam, 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 bam. That's just the only, that's where it slides right there. And then every once in a while, maybe every 3 or 4 times I do this, I'll put a drop of lube on the contact points. And that's pretty much it. That's as far as I go with lube on these. These don't really need to be lubed up all crazy. The spring, I just do a basic wipe down. It never really, unless I fire, 200 or 300 rounds through it, I don't really have to clean this thing that much. There's a lot of people that don't clean it every time they actually go fire, Yeah, see, that rifling is even really, really, really clean. There's not a lot of dirt in this thing at all. So this is a combination of I think it's the Glock 17 and the 19 together. It's either the 19 or the 19X. And what makes this Glock so special compared to the other ones, when it came out, it was the only one that had the front serrations right here on the slide. The other ones were all smooth, so you didn't have the double grip pattern. And when I put it back together, I'll point out on the front of the pistol what else they did to make things a little easier transitioning in and out of your holster. Yeah, this thing ain't really that dirty. This is called the marksman barrel. Because this is a Glock 19 and 17 together, or a Glock 19X and 17 together. It's their hybrid. It's where they took like the spring of the 17, the full size charge of the 19. Let me show you where this. See, these are the only points that it contacts is on those 4 points where I showed you. There, 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 and there. And then basically, it just slides right in these 2 slots right here in the back. There's 2 little grooves. Oh, I missed it. I missed the front grooves. You got to be careful too. See how it kind of grabbed me? It made my thumb kind of red right there. You got to be careful around that charge port, because that charge port will grab you. So they added these serrations on the front, so you can actually grab it now from the front and have something to hold on to. They beveled this part right here. They smoothed it out, so there's almost virtually no lip. You can't almost feel no surface compared to what it was before. There was a big catch right there before. So as you would put it in your holster, sometimes it would get snagged. Now they've made it real nice and smooth, and they chamfered it a little bit more right there so it won't grab. They got rid of the hole in the bottom, because whenever you would grab the pistol, your pinky would have a tendency to sit inside that hole. So enough people complained about it, and they got rid of that little divot there. They made sure where the mag goes in, it's beveled. It's got like an angle to it, so you can do quicker magazine changes. So it helps guide it in better. It's just a really, really, really nice, reliable weapon. I mean, it's just... The only safety on this weapon is in the trigger. The only safety is right here. So if I push on the side of it, right, just barely grab the side of it, I can't fire it. You have to actually put your finger inside and push down on that release to fire it. Some people don't like that. You know, they say it's really hard to drop this weapon and get it to release. No, it's not. You got to be very careful with this weapon. It's not hard to do that at all. There's a lot of stuff going on around the internet. Oh, Glock fixed this and Glock fixed that, and it's the newest, most crazy, well refigured weapon. And you know, I believed it. I went out and I bought the Glock 45 because that's what everybody was saying. It's the newest hybrid edition. Everything's fixed. You get your sights, your night sights, everything with it now. So I went as military, and I got it from the military issue line, and they only charged me $540. This is like a $650 to $700 package. I ended up getting it for $540 because military. So again, it's charged right now. Charge it again. Look how easy it is to set this thing off. Some people are like, oh, the spring in it is so loose. I mean, it may charge a round or something. You know, that's as far as it'll go. They say if you drop this thing at the right angle, which is typically like this on an angle, you can get that pin to sit back and fire. Now, have I seen that happen? No, I have not seen that happen. That part I think they did fix because people said before it was easy for that to go off. It's not the case. You gotta have it the perfect speed, the perfect angle, the perfect everything to get that to go off. That's all a bunch of hogwash that they're saying, oh, it'll fire. No, it won't. I've done demonstrations before where I put live rounds in here and I take and smack the end of it and it'll charge around, but it don't not charge around. It'll drop and bring the charge or the slide back enough to where it'll try to pull around out of the mag or something, but it never fired around. If I'm saying that correctly. And if you drop it enough and that thing comes back far enough, you have to think, people think it comes back really far. It actually doesn't. That's as far as it goes right there. That's all it takes to channel a little 9mm round. That's it. So you drop this thing from up in the air and it hits. It has enough momentum to pull that slide back and possibly pull around in there. You know, I'm just doing this here on the hand. And it's slinging it back enough to make it move like that. And I'm not even doing it that hard. I can feel it pulling back. Can you imagine if you had it all the way up in the air and just let it fall? It's a very reliable, very easy. What was it? The military or the police did a 10,000 rounds through a Glock, and it never misfired, it never jammed, it never did nothing, not one time. So I know people swear by Smith & Wesson and they swear by all these other people and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, SIG is the best. And you know what? I get all that. I get that you really like them. They have this and they have that, and this is what. None of these people are ever going to beat a Glock. It's not going to happen, and it's not even because it's not even because the Glock is the best gun on the market. That's not even it. It's just because it's the most reliable gun on the market, and it has the most accessories on the market. Not only this is like that craze we went through for about 20 years, and still even today, everybody loved the Fox body Mustangs. They were ugly as sin, but they just worked. They worked at the track. They were easy to do upgrades to. That 5.0 motor was so loose that you could make power with the factory motor just by changing out, the heads and the intake manifold and putting a decent exhaust and stuff on it and learning how to tune a little bit. You had one of the fastest cars on a weekend at the track. It wasn't because it was the fastest car on the road. It was just reliable. People could make a lot of power for a little bit of money and be very happy. Still today, the Fox Body Mustang is one of the most sought after cars out there on the market for racing. Well, that's kind of like the Glock. It's a reliable weapon. It's not the fanciest weapon. It's actually the most simple weapon that I've seen. But it fires the most accurate, and you cannot get it to stop. You can't break it. You can't mess it up. It's so easy to take apart and put back together. If you didn't start with some, if you were a person that was extremely scared about handling a firearm, or the care for a firearm, or the minimal amount of moving parts, right there. It's pretty simple. There's nothing to it, literally. And I don't need sights for this. I don't need a flashlight or anything like that. Literally, oh, fire, 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 fire. Qualification. The guy's looking at me and he says, "Hey, will you move around a little bit? Don't keep shooting in the same spot." I said, "Why?" "I'll put all 30 rounds through this paper in the same spot, and I won't budge. It doesn't matter. I'll put them all in the same spot, and I'll adjust for each one, 5, 7, what was it, 5, 7, and 10." And he said, "No, no, no, I need to see that you're moving around." So he came up to me about like the 20 round mark when I was qualifying, and he said, "Can you move around a little bit? You're hitting the same spot." And I said, "I know I am. This thing right here is dead balls accurate. It's not going to miss. If you get used to it and you practice enough with it, it's on every single time. It doesn't skip a beat." And that was one of the things that he said about, he said, "You know what? It's not the fanciest gun in the world, but it's probably one of the most reliable guns in the world." A lot of people talk about the 1911 being, through this war and that war, and the original revolver being through this war and that war. That's all fine and dandy, but they don't carry 17 rounds. They're not as loose as these are. I haven't seen any tests with 10,000 rounds being run through them without them stopping. This is always going to be the most reliable, most respected gun on the market. It was the military's gun for a long time, and still some of the more special sides of the services in the military still use this. A lot of people think the SIG M17, M18 is the new all across the board military package. No, they signed a deal with them to replace Glock. But that is not the new deal across the board. There are still special teams and stuff like that that will operate with a Glock. Special forces, some of the Green Beret teams and stuff like that, they're used to their Glocks. They want to keep them. That's what they're trained with. That's what they physically use every single day. A lot of them won't switch to a SIG because of what they're used to, or that's just how they operate. It doesn't make it a better weapon just because the military signed a contract with them on it. So a lot of people get confused about a lot of this stuff, and it just comes down to money. They just made a better deal. And it's a modular weapon. You can literally swap out the internals of the SIG M17, M18, and you can transfer those guts into another frame. You can make it a 40. You can make it, I think you can make one of them a 45 or something like that. You can make it back to a 9mm. There's so many different things that you can do with that SIG platform. So that's why I think they gave the military a good enough deal, and it was such a military style grade weapon that it fit. Why not? Let's roll with it. But I don't think they will really ever beat Glock. I don't think there's anything on the market that will really ever beat Glock for the price. The amount of accessories is unreal with Glock compared to all the other people. And it's just a well-built, very plain, simple, reliable weapon. That's it. Anybody, any dummy could take it apart and put it back together. That's why they have the name that they have. I've never seen a Glock on the range misfire, but I've seen all kinds of other weapons misfire. Name brand weapons, but I never once have seen a Glock misfire. None. But that's it. I just seen there's a name on the sights on this thing, but I didn't know that before. It's called a the hell's the name? Ameriglow H3 W00DX. Ameriglow H3. I really like these sights because it's a glow in the dark. So when you turn all the lights off, you can still see exactly where you're shooting with this thing. It's bright too. You're not gonna miss. So if somebody's in your home and there's no lights with these glow in the dark sights that are on this, they're not very tall, but they're bright. You're gonna hit what you're shooting at. Well, that's it. That's it for tonight's show. While I'm laying in bed, I will pull up the range videos today, and you can kind of see the progress that I was making as I was zeroing the scope in. You can see how I was kind of getting stuck for a while over on the left, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, why the scope wasn't zeroing. And the actual, if it says turn it to the left this way and you turn it to the left that way, you're actually bringing it back to the right. It took me a few turns, a few rounds downrange to figure that out, but in the video you can see how it progressively moves from the left. And then I'm a little high and I bring it down, and then I think right when I brought it down, my phone died. But what happened at that point was I adjusted up. So in order for me to adjust up, I had to actually take the setting and move it towards the down position, and it brought it up. And then I was above, and then I was back low, and then I clicked it a few times and I was back right under it. A few more and I got right, shot grouping, shot grouping, shot grouping, shot grouping, shot, it was just all in that black circle. And then, I'd try to do somewhere, I'd move into the bullseye and I get it one in there and two out, one in there and two out, one in there and two out, or two in there and one out. And it's just, it was a nice volley today. It taught me about this optic, and that's what every single one of these situations are about, is a learning experience. It's never going into it to think that you know 100% about what you're doing. It's about taking the knowledge that you do know, leaving it there on a notepad, knowing that it's available, and then learning from that system that you may not be familiar with. And some of that knowledge may end up coming to play. You might be able to pull it out of those notes and say, oh, I remember back in the military, actually that optic that I used, if I wanted to move it to the right, I actually didn't turn the dial to the right, I turned it to the left, and it moved the optic, your reticle, to the right. I'm starting to remember now. Oh yeah, that did happen to me. This is, oh, now I got it. Now I understand. So it's, don't go in acting like you know everything and thinking that you know everything. Go in with an open mind and just learn what you're working with and be safe about it. Anytime you put your weapon down, it's pointed down range. Anytime you take a mag out, you make sure that there's no round in the chamber. Anytime that weapon is able to be put on safe, it needs to be put on safe. And never step out of the lane with your weapon in your hands, flagging or pointing anybody else. It's one of the most dangerous things, and I see it all the time, and sometimes people don't even stop it. That weapon stays pointed downrange until there's a safety block put in it, or it's put away safely, and then you move out of that range lane and move about your business. But you don't walk out pointing it at the ceiling, pointing it at the ground, talking to your buddy with it in your hand. It stays on the damn table, pointed downrange, or in a bag, or with a safety block in, we're getting ready to be put away. That's how it operates. Alright guys, take care. Y'all be blessed. I love y'all. Thanks for sitting here and letting me ramble to you until midnight. And I'll catch you here again tomorrow. I got to do a video. I got to clear up some things that have been going on the channel. Some people have been asking me to talk about a few situations, so it's not going to be about weapons and stuff tomorrow. It's going to be about some things that people have asked me to address, and I'm going to do that. I appreciate you. See y'all tomorrow.